In creating your marketing campaign, you're looking for motivated sellers. The primary characteristics of motivated sellers, they have to have a need or a reason for selling, and most of them will have a deadline, whether it's a deadline being imposed upon them, like a sheriff's sale, or a self-imposed deadline. They've just decided they want to be out of this house and have this problem solved within a certain period of time. Primary reason why homeowners become motivated sellers: debt relief and peace of mind. When you get down to the nuts and bolts of it, the majority of the time, one or both of those reasons are going to be given to you. People want relief of the debt that they're dealing with that they can't afford, and or peace of mind from the situation that they're involved in as it relates to the ownership of their home. The motivation of a seller will change as a result of time and circumstance. So today, they may not be as motivated. I list my house for sale. It doesn't sell. In 6 months, as 6 months elapse, could they now be more motivated because of time and or their situation or their circumstance in those 6 months has changed? If they're behind in payments, they're 1 or 2 months behind, they're a certain level of motivated. 6 or 8 months from now, as they get closer to sheriff's sale, could their level of motivation increase because of time and their situation worsening? So they may not be as motivated as you would like today or where they need to be, but does it make sense to keep in touch with them and follow up with them? Yes. Everybody's level of motivation will change as a direct result of either time and or circumstance. Cardinal rules for buying and selling houses. You only buy houses from motivated sellers. You only sell houses to motivated buyers. Your objective is to position yourself right in the middle and facilitate a transaction between the two in a manner that enables you to generate a profit for your time, effort, and expertise. These are your financially challenging situations. Residents of owner-occupied residents, owners of single-family pretty houses, these are the reasons why they would sell their house. They're in foreclosure, what we call pre-foreclosure. They're behind in their payments at least 3 months. They've received a notice of default. A list pendant has been filed. The foreclosure process has begun. A sheriff's sale notice. They're now within 30 or 35 days of sheriff's sale. They've been in this judicial foreclosure process probably upwards of a year, maybe longer, and now their deadline is to sell it prior to sheriff's sale. A dismissed Chapter 13 bankruptcy motion. They're behind on their payments. They probably have an assortment of other debts. They're in over their head. They file for bankruptcy protection. The court grants them bankruptcy protection. They cannot make the payments that the court is overseeing. One or multiple creditors file suit with the court so that your veil of protection is lifted because you're not making your payment on time. They lose their bankruptcy protection. All their creditors come back after them, and they are not allowed to refile bankruptcy for 10 years. And if they're in foreclosure, the foreclosure picks up where it left off. So if they're 8 months behind, it doesn't revert back to the beginning. It picks up at the 8-month mark and keeps moving forward. Divorce filings. Divorce rate today is over 63%. A tremendous precursor to financial problems, which could result in foreclosure. Probate filings, 4 times higher than foreclosure filings. The baby boomers right now represent the largest contingent of our buying population right now. We're all only getting older. That percentage of our population is only getting older. At some point, they're going to begin dying. That's going to increase the opportunities in probate. That's why I have Ed Haynes coming in Saturday to talk to you about how to properly maneuver through the probate process. Expired and withdrawn MLS listings. These are people who tried to sell conventionally, and for one reason or another, they couldn't. The house is no longer listed for sale. Maybe they relisted, or at least it's expired. It's been out there for 6 months, maybe longer. They've tried to sell for one reason or another. It hasn't sold. They might be looking for an alternative solution now to their problem. Delinquent property taxes. About 20% of our population does not paying their taxes and insurance with their mortgage. They pay them separately. A good precursor or a good indicator that they're going to start having financial difficulties is maybe the mortgage is current, or maybe it's just a month or two behind. It hasn't been filed upon yet because they're not 90 days in arrears. But they're a quarter or two or more behind on their taxes. Whether there's a tax lien against the house or not, that's public information. So if a person's mortgage appears to be current but they're behind in taxes, that could be a good indication that they're starting to have financial problems. Out-of-area owners. This is an outstanding list to mail to. People that relocated. They tried to sell their house and they couldn't. It's either vacant or it's rented. They wanted to sell it but couldn't, so they rented it because they cannot afford to make 2 mortgage payments. They can only afford one. They have a vacant house sitting there and they're losing money every month, or they're renting it at a loss to at least alleviate some of the financial burden. And any of the miscellaneous on the bottom, a job loss, job layoff, a death, illness, accident, anything that ends up in a loss of income or somebody's inability to work is usually a precursor to several of the other situations we just discussed, which ultimately could culminate in foreclosure for non-payment of their mortgage obligation. Here are your most common foreclosure traits. Most people that call you, probably 85 to 90% of them, have one or more of these traits you're going to deal with. They have a house that's got 2 or more existing mortgages that are behind. A house that has a first mortgage with an 8% interest rate or higher. House with an adjustable rate first mortgage. A house that is 5 years old or newer, was built during the boom, now they can no longer afford it. A house that has a first or a second mortgage that's 2 years old or newer. They refinanced recently, or maybe they have a home equity loan or a second mortgage that they took out against whatever equity they had in the property within the last 2 years that they needed in order to live, but they can no longer now afford the house because it's got 2 payments, or a larger first if they refinanced. Or a house that has delinquent property taxes or an existing tax lien. People call you and they're in foreclosure and you start asking questions, you're going to notice probably 85 to 90% of those people have one or more of those traits that you will be dealing with. The number one real-world opportunity for everyone sitting in this room is the pre-foreclosure. These are homeowners who cannot make their monthly mortgage payment, or homeowners who just cannot afford to live in their home any longer for one reason or another. Pre-foreclosure situations, these are the reasons behind pre-foreclosure. They're going through a divorce. They're relocating and can't afford the 2 payments. They lost their job or got laid off. They had a death or an illness in the family or some sort of an accident, a car accident or accident on the job. What you need to understand is people don't wake up, except for some in California, there's a big craze going on, and just say, what the hell, I'm just going to stop making my mortgage payment today, I want to see what happens. So when a person calls you and you say to them, how is it that I can help you today? I need to sell my house. Mike, why do you need to sell your house? I'm in foreclosure. Is he selling his house because he's in foreclosure? No. My next question is, Mike, is this your owner-occupied residence? Yes. How long have you lived there for? 8 years. Have you always had a mortgage on your house? Yes. About how far behind in payments are you right now in months? 6 months. So then if my math is correct, for 7.5 years you were making your payment. What happened 6 months ago? Randy, I lost my job. So because you lost your job, there's less income coming in, whether your wife works or not, there might be no income. That's why you couldn't pay all your bills and finally your house fell behind. Yes. Are you back to work now? No. So right now you can't solve your problem. What is Mike's real problem? Lack of income. He needs a job. What's the real reason why he needs to sell this house? Debt relief. But I need him to say it. So I keep digging with questions until we get down to the bottom and he realizes what the real problem is. His need isn't that he's in foreclosure. He's in foreclosure is the reason why he called me. What's his real need? Getting a job because he doesn't have any income. Everybody understand that? So when people call and say they're in foreclosure, this is what you need to find out. This is the precursor to this, which is why when they are in this and their name is now public information, you subscribe to a service and then mail to them, this is why they call you. But you found out about them because it's public information. Does everybody understand that? You need to find out the real reason, the real need, why they need to sell that house. What problem is it that's being solved? Well, Mike, unfortunately, I can't give you a job or help you find a job, but what I can do is hopefully alleviate some of that debt and some of those financial concerns and buy your house in a way that'll solve your problem and at least give you a chance to start over again and help you and your family. How does that sound? As soon as he says yes, as far as I'm concerned, it's a done deal. That's all I say to people. Does everybody understand that? But the reason I can get to that point is because I dug and I found out this. There's 5 stages of foreclosure. Number 1 is the arrear stage. You're behind in payments, 3 months or less. You're dealing directly with the lender. Once they fall 90 days behind in New York, in New Jersey and Pennsylvania, 120 in New York, a notice of default is issued by certified mail or served upon them by the sheriff or a courier that the sheriff hires. It's called a notice of default, letting them know the foreclosure process has begun, and a lis pendens is filed, putting them on public notice that a foreclosure proceeding suit has been brought against them. This pre-foreclosure stage is the longest in terms of duration in a judicial state like New Jersey, New York, or Pennsylvania. At 90 days, the lender can file. So the arrear stage is a minimum of 90 days because a lot of lenders are backed up. Sometimes they don't file for 4 or 5 months, but at 90 days in Pennsylvania, New York, 120 in New York, it's statutory, they can file. The sheriff's sale is the public auction. That is the actual foreclosure itself. Depending upon the state, it's usually advertised at least 30 to 35 days before sale. It's got to be advertised a certain number of times in so many newspapers. It's usually different county to county. Just contact your local newspapers, or we're going to have American Foreclosures talking to you this afternoon. Their website has all that information for you. So that's the actual foreclosure, the sheriff's sale, the public auction. If nobody bids above the upset price, there's a 10-day right of redemption period. Even if somebody bids above the upset price, there's a 10-day right of redemption period, where the homeowner now, to cure the default, would have to pay everything that's owed, not just the arrears, but all the principal, everything, to pay the lender off in full. Now, chances are they're not going to do it, so if anybody bid above the upset price, after 10 days, it's deeded to them by the sheriff. If it's not bid above the upset price, it's deeded back to the lender. It becomes what's called an REO, real estate owned or bank-owned property, where it then gets listed for sale with a realtor. Those are your 5 stages of foreclosure in all 3 states. Your number 2 real-world opportunity are the expired and withdrawn MLS listings. Pre-foreclosures, because it's public information, expired and withdrawn listings, why? You can get them free from a realtor. These are homeowners who cannot sell their home conventionally using the services of a licensed real estate agent, or in some cases, homeowners who have then tried to sell their home conventionally as a for sale by owner and still can't sell the house. So people who have tried to sell their house by conventional means, realtor, for sale by owner, or in most cases both, and for whatever reason, they cannot sell the house. Their information is out there in the MLS. A realtor can give it to you for free. You pass the mic for a couple questions real quick?
Randy, do you pick up a lot of pre-foreclosures by using the expired and withdrawn list?
Pre-foreclosures?
People that are in pre-foreclosure, they list their house?
There are some people that are in pre-foreclosure, you will find that their house is listed, but I get my pre-foreclosure listings through a service called American Foreclosure you'll learn about this afternoon. So there will be houses that are listed for sale that are in foreclosure. Most of them aren't, but some of them will be.
Randy, on that 10-day how's that? There we go. On that, ooh, on that 10-day redemption, are there people that hook up with the people that have 10 days to pay it
Yep.
and then catch them that way
Yep.
on the far end and then negotiate a deal and then take the house?
Right now, it's frowned upon by the investors that go to sheriff's sale. But here's what his question is. I go to a sheriff's sale. There's a particular house that I have my eye on. Okay, I don't want to bid in the process. Come to find out, nobody bids above the upset price, so it's going to go back to the lender, but it has to go through this 10-day redemption period. Or in some cases, maybe somebody did bid above the upset price. Really could go either way, but you'll notice it more that way. Now, I technically have 10 days to find that homeowner and say to them, hey, I'll give you, pick a number because they may not be walking away with anything, especially if it's going to go back to the lender, $3,000 or $5,000 for your redemption rights. Will you assign your redemption rights to me? Yes. So they assign their redemption rights to me. I go pay off what's owed to the sheriff to go to the lender, and then the house gets deeded to me. Is it a circuitous way that most investors that make their business at the sheriff's sale think is unethical and should be illegal? Yes, that's what they will tell you. Does it happen? Yes, it does. So can a homeowner assign their redemption rights to you in writing? Absolutely they can. I have not done that, no.
You talk about when dealing with a realtor that you want REO listings. Now, REOs typically are not pretty houses. They're houses that have been vacant for some period of time. What do you do with those REO houses?
We're going to talk more about REOs on Saturday, but they might be vacant, but that doesn't mean that they're not pretty. They might need several $1,000s worth of work, but if I can get it cheap enough, we just buy it, fix it up, touch it up. I'm not talking a major rehab and resell it. Absolutely.
Randy, I have a question about the withdrawn listings. I've been getting listings in, and I'm noticing some of them are like 9 days or 23 days. I'm wondering if you waste the 42-cent stamp on something short like that.
If it's that short, there's a reason why it was listed and then withdrawn again. You could, just to see. They may not call. You could tell your realtor that you're looking for properties that have been withdrawn after a particular period of time, or maybe they were listed once or relisted, and during that second listing, if they were withdrawn, mail to those. So it depends on how much you want to spend on your marketing. But chances are, if it was listed and withdrawn in a week or two, it's probably something occurred, and that's why they. Yeah, probably doesn't sound like they're motivated. You're probably right. But that doesn't mean you can't mail to them. But there's plenty of others that are withdrawn that have been out there a lot longer that probably make more sense for you to market to. Carol, one more question over here.
Yeah, I was wondering, with these properties that have gone through the 6 months with the realtor and perhaps FSBO and everything, if they can't sell them in that period of time, what makes you think that you can sell them?
Because your competitive advantage is that you are a marketing specialist and you know based on that property how you're going to get paid and the way you're going to buy or control it, who you are going to market to and how you are going to get paid. There's a big difference, and we're going to get to that shortly. No.
What was the question?
No. Here's why. On an average house, I will spend anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000 to sell a house. Let's say the house's fair market value is $250,000. So a realtor is going to make 6%, which is what? $15,000. $7,500 is going to go to the listing agent. $7,500 to the selling agent. Of that $7,500, half's going to go to the broker. So that realtor, if it sells for full market value and if it's a full 6% commission, at best is going to make $3,750. How much of that $3,750 over a 6-month listing are they going to spend on marketing? 10%, 15% is what the typical realtor tells me. So $400 to $600. They're going to spend $400 to $600 over 6 months. I'm going to spend $2,000 to $3,000 in a week to 10 days. Who has a better chance of selling that house? Simple math. What's the realtor going to do? Sign in the front yard, a little tiny ad in the newspaper. It's going to get lost with the 10,000 other ads. When we market in the newspaper, we go in 3 newspapers, color display ads a quarter or an eighth of a page, sometimes half a page. If it's a local paper, maybe we'll take a whole page. Our approach is much more proactive, much more aggressive. Your competitive advantage is in your marketing. You're going to spend more money and have more marketing tools at your disposal than what the realtor can do or is willing to do. With regard to, one more question?
Randy, in the case where you're going for the redemption rights, if there was a second mortgage in place, now that's technically been foreclosed off, will that have to be redeemed as well?
I don't believe so because I have never done that because you're right, that's going to foreclose it off, but that's something you're going to want to talk to. That would be a question for an attorney or for the sheriff with regard to that. Okay. I'm not saying that's something that I endorse. Like she asked, I've never done it. I know people that do it, so I'm not very proficient in that. It probably would get foreclosed off, but that's a question for an attorney. Expired listing situations. These are the reason why expired listings don't sell. Declining values, we're in a buyer's market. High level of inventory, there's no scarcity. Lack of competition, there's no time pressure. Lack of aggressive and creative marketing, which is the way I answered that last question, and just flat out fear, poor market conditions, poor economy. Those are the reasons why properties are not selling right now because of the buying public that's out there. That's what they're seeing. That's why the values are coming down. The longer I wait, the better the deal I'm going to get. High level of inventory, no scarcity. I have a lot to choose from. Lack of competition, there's no time pressure. I don't have all the time in the world to make my decision. There's no creative or aggressive marketing. There's plenty of fear out there. That's why houses aren't selling. Your number 3 real-world opportunity is the REO. Same thing. Banks and conventional lenders who cannot sell their inventory of houses conventionally using the services of a licensed real estate agent. Same thing. REO listing situations. They can't sell their houses. Why? Why are they any different than homeowners if they list them with a realtor? The realtor is going to do the exact same thing, correct? So whether it's a listing where the homeowner, somebody still owns their house, whether they're in foreclosure or not, they're motivated or not, listed with a realtor, or a lender giving a realtor an REO listing, it's the same thing. The same 5 or 6 reasons why they cannot sell the house. All right, we just got done over the last hour plus of introducing you to our power team. Like I said, 3 or 4 people could not be here due to previous commitments or issues or emergencies that came out of their control. Tom Gazaway will hopefully be able to stop by tomorrow, Saturday. And like I said, Irene from Equity Trust will be here between tomorrow and Saturday as well. With that being said, other than private lenders, which we're going to talk more about this afternoon, how to secure them, the only person on the power team that we have not been able to give you is your realtor. Your licensed real estate agent is going to be specific to the geographic area, your target market that you're going to work in. There's no sense on me saying, hey, use my realtor in Gloucester County, and you're here from Brooklyn, or you're here from Philadelphia, or you're here from Bergen County. It doesn't make sense. You're going to want to find a realtor. On the screen right now are the responsibilities of your realtor when you are looking to develop a relationship with them. These are the 4 things that you need a realtor to do for you. He or she needs to be able to provide you with a list of expired and withdrawn MLS listings on either a weekly or monthly basis for the purposes of direct mailing. And we're going to talk about direct mailing later on this afternoon as well. Provide you with REO listings on a daily or weekly basis to review and analyze. REO listings are increasing. Fox News reported a few months ago by the end of this year, an estimated 1/3 of all listings in the MLS by the end of 2009 will be REO properties. It is a tremendous source and tremendous opportunity. All the REOs that are listed, yes, absolutely. Okay, so you don't have to worry about going to find it. No. Remember, you're picking a confined geographic area that you're going to work in, so you're going to tell that realtor exactly where you're operating, and I want all the current REO listings. Now, I don't go to my realtor and say I want every REO listing in the state of New Jersey. Where's the sense and logic in that? You know, if you're here from Bergen County, I can teach you how to buy and sell houses in Bergen County. I know one thing. I can show you how to do it, but I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to drive 2 hours from home. There's plenty in Gloucester County for me. Those in Bergen County have plenty for them up there. This realtor is going to present offers on your behalf for those REO properties that you analyze and tell them how you want the offers presented. And they're going to provide you with comps, comparable sales when analyzing and evaluating properties such as your expired listings, REO listings, or any other leads that you are working on. The only due diligence you will ever do once you get a lead sheet is what is the house worth right now in its best move-in condition. You're not going to look up the tax records. You're not going to do a title search. You're not going to do any of that. All you care about is what is the house worth right now in its best move-in condition. That is what the realtor is going to give you. A comp, by definition, in today's marketplace is this: a similar like-kind property that has sold. It's not pending. It's not active. It's not expired. That's sold within the last 90 days. Cannot be more than 1 mile from the property. Must be in the same zip code, preferably as close to the property as possible. Same development, neighborhood, or on the same street. You're not comparing a 4-bedroom house to a 3-bedroom house. You're not comparing a 2.5-bedroom house to a 1.5-bedroom house. A 2,000 square foot house to a 1,500 square foot house. They must be similar properties. If it's difficult to find sales because of lack of activity in that area, number one, that should be a red flag. Do I want to be there? Why is there little or no activity, no matter how far back I go? Or B, if there is a decent amount of activity, but I'm having difficulty with comping it, that's where you're going to call your appraiser. Your appraiser will know how to make the requisite adjustments and tell you, in this area, if your comp is a 4-bedroom house, but you have a 3-bedroom, here's how we're going to comp it down. Or if you have a 2.5 bathroom, but all the comps are 2 bathrooms, here's how we're going to comp it upwards. Does everybody understand? You are not going to comp your own properties. You will not use Zillow. Zillow is a worthless website. You will not use RealtyTrack, RealQuest. They are worthless. They are not accurate. The only thing that is accurate is the multiple listing service sold properties. You get the information from your realtor and ask him or her for an opinion of value. If they're having difficulty, you turn it over to your appraiser. Does everybody understand? That is the only due diligence you will ever do on a single-family house. What is it worth today in its best move-in condition? Not what was it worth 2 years ago before the market started to turn, or what do I think in my crystal ball it's going to be worth in 2 more years. What is it worth today? That is it. You get that information from your realtor. I get this question a lot. How do I find a realtor? This is your elevator speech. This is what you are going to say when you're talking to realtors. And you're simply going to say, I am a full-time, or if you're part-time, a part-time real estate entrepreneur. I buy and sell houses each and every month as my sole source or primary source of income. I spend a couple of $1,000s every month on direct response marketing. I generally receive dozens, if not hundreds, of leads as a result of these creative and aggressive marketing campaigns. Consequently, I routinely come across homeowners who should be working with a realtor. Would you like me to give you all of these leads free of charge? I'm not asking for anything yet. I'm offering to do something for you. What realtor is going to say no to that? I know there's some that are out there. Who would say no to that? Probably none. Great. In exchange for me giving you these leads, I'd like you to do 3 simple things for me. That's all you're going to ask them for. Provide me with a list of expired and withdrawn listings, either on a weekly or monthly basis, whatever you want, giving them the target geographic area you're working and the type of properties that you're working. We already went over picking an area and what a single-family pretty house is. You tell them, this is what I'm looking for. Provide me with a list of REO listings on a daily or weekly basis. Same thing. I want REOs, this area, these types of properties. Finally, provide me with comps when requested or as needed to determine which properties I'm interested in contracting to purchase. If you can let me know what these houses are worth as I get leads I'm looking to pursue, I'd appreciate it. Is this type of arrangement acceptable to you? So what are they really doing? You're going to give me leads that you've pre-screened for free that should be working with a realtor like me, and all you want in response is a list of expired listings, REO listings, and to comp a handful of properties a month every month. Is that not fair? That's all you're doing. That's all you're saying to them. If they're dumb enough and say no, you find somebody else. You're probably not going to have to say this to more than 4 or 5 realtors at most before you'll have one jumping out of their skin wanting to work with you. Question? You have a microphone back there?
Randy, how would I know to use a realtor or a deal on my own?
If you, what's the question again?
How would I know if it's a realtor situation or it's a thing I can do myself?
When you say a realtor situation or
Yeah,
thing,
in other words, it's a realtor problem that he or she should do.
well, you're going to pre-screen the lead, and if it's somebody, for example, they say, what do you think your house is worth? I think it's worth $250, and here's why. What are you asking? $250, I won't take a penny less.
That's a realtor.
That's a realtor.
Okay.
My house is worth $250, what are you asking? I don't care, come take it, help. The people that either you can't help or don't want to work with, you offer that lead to the realtor. They may or may not get the listing. You're giving them the free leads, pre-screened. Here they are. These are people who should be considering working with a realtor. I gave you 20 leads. I don't care if you get 20 listings. I don't want a dime. This is what I want from you.